champion, no doubt. The Yuumi can be a terror overall.
Excuse me, so did you say anticlimactic? Did you forget that at Rift Rivals, they ran Zed Yuumi bot lane?
I did. Forgive me, dear audience. For those of you at home, it's still possible, but I feel like we might see a Xayah Rakan.
That's what I'm expecting.
Misfits stay debating their option. Now this is a chance for DOS to prove himself. Is he the superior player? But with the Yuumi locked in, no pressure to grab the Rakan as of yet, so instead it will be the Sylas, a nice flex pick locked in. And honestly, no surprise to see the Qiyana, the immediate pickup from the side of G2, and this might be a Yuumi pipe.
No, surely not. Surely G2 would never do that. Right now, they are hovering the Lucian. Okay, they're going to go for a standard conventional bot lane. Very powerful. Lucian Yuumi makes a lot of sense. Very strong 2v2 power. Going up against the Xayah Rakan is what we expect. So we are going to see a big comfort pick for DOS. I'm looking forward to seeing that as we jump into game. But so far, we're expecting the Sylas to go in the jungle. That's normally what I like to see it. However, of course, it does have flexibility. It can go mid, can go top. Same for the Qiyana. So it feels like that both teams have kind of mirrored each other in their approach to the draft so far.
And I'm curious to see which team can get an advantageous mid lane matchup, because as exciting as DanDan versus Wunder inevitably will be, I think my eyes are still on kind of the leader versus Caps matchup in the mid lane, and to see what junglers are going to support them as well. But for now, a pick like the Aatrox taken off the board, not super surprising when you've seen the impact that it's had across the last few games we've seen it in today, and kind of G2 eSports debating here what they want to limit, what they want to leave available. The Olaf taken away from Kirei, so still respecting the potential for the Sylas to flex.
If they're concerned about junglers, this does suggest that Qiyana may be what they're looking for to put in the jungle. If that is the case, they may want to ban away something like the Lee Sin as well, given that he actually does pretty well in terms of matchups against the Qiyana. They could also consider taking away the Jarvan as well.
And Wunder giving us potentially a taste of what to come as you look at his summoner spells. But we'll wait and see what he's going to lock in. The Gragas has now been taken off the board. Of course, a legendary support in the hands of Mickey, but more often than not, a very meta pick for the jungle. And the Jax taken away from DanDan. I like the respect that G2 eSports, even this far ahead, they're still giving that respect over.
You mentioned the summoner spells. I thought jungle, Olaf top, Jax top. Both potentially good matchups into a certain pick that Wunder was talking about on Twitter.
A certain mystical unicorn thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. We can talk about what the heck the etymology of that champion is when we get into game.
So the question is Soraka top good into Kennen? I don't know, Dino Draco, so please don't ask me that. Tell me, Vedius.
This is where we use a classic caster technique, which is figure it out as you go. Sure, why not, Vedius? Now, the options, of course, coming through for G2. Still a lot of champions left up and available. The Talia, not something that we've seen in a long time. Obviously, has been hit repeatedly, but that
there it is! The Soraka top lane. All right, so we heard Wunder tweeting about it. We saw a couple of jokes in yesterday's draft, but now we get it locked in. Ooh, I am excited to see this.
Oh, Mickey did promise this. It's not going to happen, though.
No. What do they need right now? They need a mid laner or they need a jungler. That's what they're looking for.
Hyper carry.
No, you got baited, audience. You got baited. You're only getting one Soraka today.
You only get one. I like that. One crazy pick for G2, and the debate, the final decision here for young DOS. The Rakan, already locked in. He's going to have to pick for someone else.
So it's either a matchup into the Azir, which could just be Corki, could be Leader's Corki, but we know he doesn't
play. Are you
Sorry, I apologize.
Swear to God, I will walk onto that stage and grab that coach headset and, okay, good, it's Xin Zhao. Thank you, ladies. We're fine, ladies and gentlemen. There will be no Corki Azir on this stage today. All right.
Leader will be playing the Sylas into the Azir. We'll see how that one pans out for him, but let's talk about what we expect in terms of the early laning phase. There is a lot of trading and a lot of power in the 2 versus 2 down towards the bot side of the map. Lucian Yuumi, very potent. Xayah Rakan, also very potent. Early edge, I would give that advantage over to the G2 bot lane, though.
And of course, you have two incredibly powerhouse early junglers. Qiyana, of course, suffers an early clear, but we've seen in the hands of Cersei what that level 3, level 2 gank can look like when you have the water element available. And for Xin, the Kirei Classic, we know how powerful this early game can be, and while G2 have some late game kind of heal the Azir, protect the Azir with this Soraka Yuumi comp, it's a very explosive early game as well for the side of Misfits.
Yeah, and I want to preface, I'm not entirely sure how how strong Soraka top lane is. I've only heard positive things about it. I know that it runs Smite, and I know that you go for that early jungle item because it is cost effective, it synergizes well with Soraka's kit, and on top of that, the challenging Smite gives you a lot of additional damage in the 1 versus 1. So I'm excited to see it in action. He will be running the Unsealed Spellbook. We will track it when we get into game, but ladies and gentlemen, it's Soraka Smite top lane.
And sometimes all you can do is sit back and watch the chaos, see how it unfolds. And the thing is if you have the impression that G2 kind of just picks stuff, well, one, they do, but they do prepare. They do theory craft. They put a lot of thought into the picks that they do play on this stage. So you gotta respect it. You gotta wonder if Misfits are prepared as we gear up for our 4th game of the day, getting closer and closer to the end of the splits. Can G2 move closer to locking first, and can Misfits keep their dreams alive? But that's LEC stuff, Vedius. And the thing that's often more important for many of our players at home than LEC is solo queue. And we just happen to have 2 of the biggest solo queue all-stars in this game right now. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Mykix, #1 on the ladder in 2018 versus DOS the Boss, #1 in 2019.
Wait. But the first thing Cap says when he gets into game is, did you check the ladder this morning? And it turns out DOS is only #2.
What?
Daniel Jankos. Caps has dethroned him.
I take it back. Forget we aired the graphic. It's ruined. #1 versus #2. Oh, man.
It's almost time to take the battle for rank 1 to the stage. Caps took rank 1 before we came to the studio, so hopefully that bodes well for this game. There's so much tension, so much drama on the line.
And between the dabbing Qiyana and the stealing of rank 1, I feel like Caps wants... No one gets to have fun against Caps. You get nothing. There are no accomplishments left for you when you play against Caps. But hold on to that thought. I want to hit the Soraka top lane briefly, but for now, let's, outside of the Soraka top, let's set some expectations for the kind of the normal part of the map right now.
So, let's look at early game jungle pathing, because it's always important and always indicative of where junglers are looking to go. You'll notice that the Qiyana actually starting on blue, a little different to what we normally see from Qiyana jungles, because their early clear is weak. They usually do a full red side clear to get that level 3 and then either look for an early gank or go for an early base. But Jankos, by starting up towards the top side, will be looking to take his blue, take his wolves, and then I wonder whether or not he goes to the raptors or immediately to his red. Because with the single target damage, it can be a little bit difficult to actually clear out those raptors. So he is actually making the decision to go for his red, while Kirei just looks for a level 2 gank.
Interesting, wants the gank here. Does Caps already have the shifting sands? Has he selected a skill here to go for the trade? No dash out yet. The flash is still up and available. The flash already burned on the side of Kirei. The leader's now going in, locking him up, looking for the Abscond. Duck his Cap locked down. First blood. Are they going to be able to lock him down? Come on, just finish the kill. Caps still alive, but first blood, the Raptors will take it in the end, and leader happy to benefit from that first blood gold.
And Kirei is able to get leader ahead very early on. Caps' early push gets punished by some successful aggression. And while this could have been dangerous, how about
okay, all right, yeah. we get it. He's a special boy.
Yeah. Beautiful stuff from the side of Misfits. I thought the Kirei had quite a few options with his jungle pathing. But it looks like that he just went for the early kill. It worked out, and you can see the Jankos getting a pretty delayed level 3 as a result of it. So he will now clear out his Krugs. His pathing is a little all over the shop, but I think his whole game plan was to look for an early gank bot.
This is what you talk about, the potential for this bot lane to be explosive. Lucian, of course, notorious for these all-ins. Now getting level 3, the exhaust immediately comes out. Extra combat summoners in this lane. Hansama now has to run for his life. Jankos stepping in, good damage, but Hansama trying to turn it. Does go down in the end, but may just give his life in the exchange. 1-for-1 so far. PerkZ now has to run for the hills. Coming in, leader fishing for the kill here. No flash available. Burn it earlier on. Will not connect on the chains, but Misfits come out on top again.
And Kirei was able to pass down towards bot and counter the gank from Jankos. It feels like that G2 are falling behind in this early game, and Misfits are doing a great job of punishing. Now PerkZ is back, will get further delayed. This means that Hansam will be able to go back to base and actually TP mid lane to keep the pressure up as Misfits look to gain control over the river.
And I like this. Misfits fighting fire with fire, seeing them now. Very often it feels like teams try to play out Misfits style, bait around the mid 2v2, but G2 are playing into it. And so far, Misfits are coming out on top.
Yeah, I mean, the bright side for G2 is that Jankos' double buff didn't go over to Xayah. because while Hansama did get the kill onto Jankos, he ended up dropping almost shortly after. So again, look at the minimap, and you'll notice that Kirei is in a position to collapse. A really good knockup from DOS actually buys enough time to allow the jungler to then join the fray. It ends up being kill for kill between jungler and AD carry. Mickey cannot join PerkZ, who would love to save him, but then a TP from leader is enough to cut his escape route off. And while he couldn't quite find that kill, he will be able to threaten that bot lane even more. So great start for Misfits. And so far, they need to look at a couple more options in terms of how they bounce back in this game.
And while the bottom side of the map so far feels to be favoring Misfits, 700 gold lead for them now, we can now finally check in on the top side. For now, no jungle item coming out from Wunder. Of course, with the Summoner Spellbook, he can't swap, but starting Smite alone does give him access to those jungle items if he wants to. For now, though, just a bit of cooldown reduction, sitting, farming, playing safe. He's hanging out, Vedius.
Yeah, now you do obviously get some sustain every time you land that Q on your opposition, which is really valuable and mitigates a lot of the harass, but it can be difficult for this AD Kennen to really get into range of the Soraka. I'm excited to see how he utilizes the silence later on into the game. I am interested as to actually why he chose to take the heal. Because I do believe you can't use it on yourself, right? Nope. So I thought that he would actually just max his Q into E, but he does in fact have 3 points in his Q. He does have a single point in his W as well, along with the E. Meanwhile, we see a gank in mid lane.
Already the explosive play. Leader now trying to get something back, running away. A beautiful stolen ultimate. Kirei there to back him up. Jankos and Caps overcommitted. Quick turn. But well played by Leader to survive. Did not think he'd be able to make it out of that one.
Extremely well played there by Leader. Very patient as well, recognizing that a lot of crowd control was there, ready to lock him up. He waited for all of that to disappear, and then he utilized the Azir ultimate to create a gap between him and the two members of G2, allowing him to walk away with his life.
And I like that G2 are trying to capitalize on the missing flash there from Leader in the mid lane. Of course, Caps
top lane.
Flash at the same time, but as you said, Vedius looking at top lane. Will they just dive? Wunder here has the ult to heal himself, but as you mentioned before, Smite trying to clear the way. Kirei now going in. The silence being laid down. Kirei might just be in trouble. Wunder not going to get the chance to ult. DanDan going to grab the kill. Kirei going to live a little triumph to keep him nice and healthy.
Successful dive coming out from Misfits, and Kirei is performing beautifully in this early game. He's all about the ganks, and this is where he found so much success when he debuted here in the LEC. It was all about going to every single lane, finding those early skirmishes, and netting his team advantages through kills. He's done it mid, he's done it bot, he rounds out the trip by securing a kill up top, and right now Misfits find themselves with a 1k gold lead.
Excellent spot for the team to be. DanDan, of course, opting for the AD Kennen, and this lane is only going to get harder. Now he has some sustain to match the sustain of Soraka. Easier now to get on top of the target with the Cutlass too, so I feel like Wunder's going to have to give a lot more respect to DanDan on the top side.
You can see that G2, they wanted to continue to play around this bot side of the map, try and get the Lucian ahead in the early game. It does make a lot of sense. And now they get baited out.
He's going to take a little bit of damage here, but now knockback. Hansama going to be in trouble, already taken down. PerkZ now pushing for one more. DOS is going to make it out. Uses the flash to get to safety. One quick kill picked up by G2. Excellent execution.
Hansama did not hit that level 6. Oh, Kirei sitting in fog of war.
That's a beautiful gank. The quick flash over, now chasing Kirei, trying to finish this kill off. Wind becomes lightning. Where's the slow going to go?
The blue mana. Okay. So Kirei recognizes that he can't choose to overcommit there because the Soraka was on its way down. Caps now.
Can't forget, the Soraka gets so fast with the healing. Wunder's going to chase this kill down. Caps going to grab it in the end. Kirei does not respect the healing coming out from Wunder.
That is what we call greed, ladies and gentlemen. Kirei should have just disengaged. He got the flash out from Caps. He did what he needed to, but then he overstays. It becomes a 2 versus 1, and now Wunder has his eyes set on Leader.
Leader, silence for now. Caps, just gonna lay down a bit of poke. Okay, you guys are really excited about Soraka. This, though, on the bottom side, PerkZ is gonna get taken down. The 2v2 kill comes through for Hansama and DOS. Mickey now has to... Honestly, this champion just dies when it's left alone, so Mickey will eventually...
Run, Cap, run!
Jankos there. They're gonna dash out to safety. Jankos, the hero of the day. That's worth a round of applause. Saves his bot laner.
But PerkZ and Mickey making a big overstep there, dying in the 2 versus 2. When we get a replay, we can see exactly how that one came to be. But in any case, what was initially a pretty big advantage now ends up with the 2v2 being in a bit of a deficit. As a big wave stacking up top, Wunder's afraid of a potential dive. He has no vision around the top side. Keep an eye on what Jankos is doing, pathing all the way up to try and support him, as we have a look back at this play. So we can see PerkZ just hits level 6. DOS and Hansama is still only level 5. Meanwhile, they're just dancing back and forth, dancing back. The root lands under the tower. He gets knocked up. So just a slight overstep there from PerkZ, ends up getting punished.
And of course, good play in the end, but now we might just see a dive on the bottom side. The final chapter now coming out. DOS locked up under tower. He's going to take that tower shot. Only level 5 will battle dance out to safety. PerkZ still looking to finish the kill. Will be forced to make a grand escape. Kirei can't look to turn this if they step too far forward. Mickey goes right back in. For now, both sides alive and well. A good turn on the tower dive from G2, but Hansama might be in trouble. PerkZ, is he going to push this one? Has to be careful. The flash up and available for Hansama. Level 6 as well with the ultimate. PerkZ will not get any major cooldowns.
That was really well played by Mickey. Notice how PerkZ as well positioned him in a slightly more dangerous position, but it allowed for the double ultimate to land onto 2 members of Hansama and DOS. So that mitigates the dive, and the duo is able to walk away with the life. Now Jankos paths up towards top. He should have been spotted out by this ward, which means that DanDan is aware of it. He's not going to overcommit, he's going to disengage, and he's just going to give away the plates for now.
The root will connect from the water blade. Meanwhile, as the observers highlighted, the TP has been used for Hansama, so at the end of the day, that dive actually costing Misfits a pretty small amount here. They'll lose the TP, will make it harder for Hansama to stay in this lane. We're still in that period of time where plates are going to be important for the bottom side of the map, but TPs across the board. Once again, small incremental advantages now for G2 as the gold evens out.
Now pings have come down onto Leader. Cap's telling the bot lane, hey, Leader's roaming. I have a feeling he's running through our jungle right now. Be careful, jungler is topside. So what do? Immediately disengage, go towards the Krugs. Looks like that they're a bit of indecision in this, whether or not they want to do it. Meanwhile, gank in the mid lane.
Will not connect on the abscond of Duck. Cap's going to throw out the ultimate, forced to dash away. Wunder's here once again to try to save the day, but Jankos, rather. It's going to be here too. The Wunder ulti heals them up, and Jankos there to make sure that no further dive comes through.
Now do remember that you can combo the Azir wall with the Qiyana ultimate. Sets up for some pretty devastating crowd control and burst. Meanwhile, we see Jankos immediately pathing top, but DanDan's going to be able to get out of that situation very quickly. I think what we can safely say is that we haven't seen too much from this Soraka, but now the jungle item has been completed. Conventionally, what Wunder has done following this is secure himself a support item. So things like the Ardent Censer, 15's Unholy Grail, and he's basically there to support his team later on. But against the AD Kennen, I think it's been a great pick at mitigating one of the biggest strengths of Soraka, which is a constant sustain and ability to see roots.
The dash in, DOS trying to make a safety, but he's already given his life. Hansama getting a kill back, throwing the ultimate out onto PerkZ. Now it's just Mickey and Hansama, the cat and the bird. I think we've seen enough nature shows to know how this goes. Maybe not. Mickey still playing with a lot of confidence. We'll step forward on both sides. Just going to walk away. The 1-for-1 support for AD carry, but that feels like a positive trade for Misfits. Cap's now forced out of mid lane as well, and across the board, Misfits trying to make some very aggressive plays.
Wait, this is exactly what happens when Cap...
Oh!
Well played there, Hansama. I'll be honest, I haven't seen many nature shows where the bird kills the cat.
That's true, okay. I had that backwards, okay?
But beautifully played by Hansama. He walks away with the kill. Misfits now, 8 kills to 4. They built themselves up a pretty sizable gold advantage once again. G2 have done a great job of kind of closing the gap and then giving it away again. But I love how proactive Misfits are consistently being now. Well, we see here, Jankos actually gets caught off guard. Wasn't expecting Misfits to be in the bottom half of the map. So he ends up dying. And then that also set up for the bot lane dive, which ends up being a 2-for-1 in favor of Hansama and DOS.
And just before that play, the gold was dead even, but now once again, a 1k gold in the favor of Misfits. Hansama is getting stronger and stronger. 1.5 items completed, as well as the stopwatch, so PerkZ Mickey might have to be a bit more careful.
I think we're going to see another bot lane dive soon, my friend. I'm having a look at summoner spells. No TPs are available anywhere on the map. Mid lane has been pushed in, and already Leader and Kirei are pathing that way. They could also just use their pressure to set up for the Drake, but they don't want that. They want kills, they want to fight, they have their eyes set on Jankos.
It's a bait. They're waiting for them to come in. The flash over the wall. They're not going to stay for even a moment. The knock's trying to cut through. Mickey's instantly dead, but Jankos leaps out the other way to try and survive. The stolen ultimate will not connect. Leader now fishing for a little bit more. An invisible Jankos. How much time can he buy? Caps is here to protect him as he retreats, but he's in enemy territory. He's going to try to dash to safety. The abscond, the abduct will not be necessary. Jankos use that E to quickly shift into safety. Oof. G2 only going to lose 1 on the back of that play. Caps now laying down a bit more damage, playing a bit with fire here, but knocks Kirei under the tower. That's going to be disastrous. That's going to be the shutdown for Jankos. Leader and DOS now have to run. DOS might be next on the menu. Leader could be first. The double kill coming in. Jankos might want to make it a triple, but DOS will leap out to safety.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the difference between a rank 1 solo queue player and a rank 2 one. Beautifully executed from Caps. He walks away with the double kill, and G2 once again look to close the gold gap.
I was wondering where you were going to go when you started popping off there. All right, well played. Well played by G2. I'm excited to see that replay. And that's the kind of confidence that you know the limitations of your champion when you're a player like Caps. You know that you can dash out to safety. You're okay to get that much chip damage.
So notice how much time Jankos is buying, but Misfits still feel the need that they can turn this fight around. They overcommit just a little bit too much. Chip damage is coming out from Jankos, they hard commit, then Kirei gets thrown underneath the tower. Then they get to reposition and utilize the range of the Azir, and then a good stun comes out from Jankos to help secure the second kill. Excellent teamwork between the two. DOS isn't quite able to land that crucial CC, and Kirei ultimately getting punished underneath the tower.
Yeah, very well played. Very patient by the side of G2. You could tell that Misfits smelled blood in the water, thought that was their opportunity to extend the gold lead. But actually, it was G2's opportunity to tie things up. Don't be mistaken by the 5 plates to 3. Only 480 gold earned on both sides. And while the rest of the map has been fighting, Wunder has been ulting from the top side. And now potentially dying as Kirei does look to pitch for this play. Dash gonna come through. The Lucian is on the way up. If they overcommit here, it will be disastrous, but the silence is there. Wunder now trying to turn it. He's healed up. Kirei! That is not what he wanted. DanDan outrun. He's gonna be cold, relentlessly pursued by the side of G2. He will be able to make it out in the end, but G2 continues to push forward as Hansama takes the bot lane tower, but G2 are not done yet. This is not DanDan's day to survive. A supreme display of talent will not be enough to stun the lockup. DanDan, can he turn it? It will not be there for him today. Jankos on a killing spree.
And just in time, the bot lane from G2 arrive to turn this top lane play in their favor, but that does not mean that Misfits are slowing down. Hansama secures the bot lane tower. He's already gone back to base and is back out on the map, and if G2 tried to go for this first Herald, they are over-committing. They do not have the time to make this play. Misfits will be stronger, so they have to disengage.
Still, they're taking their time with it. Trying to clear out a bit more vision. DOS, of course, has the control ward laid down. Will do what he can to secure and to make sure that his team has the setup. G2 try to go for the...
Oh, Caps died. We missed that.
Oh, well, let's take a look.
So let's have a look here. So 1v1, Caps versus Leader. Leader steals away the ultimate, throws him underneath the tower. They trade ultis, but Caps says, I still want this 1 versus 1. You can't fight against a low health Sylas.
Yeah, like, the point of being an Emperor is you have someone else to do your dirty work for you. You don't run in face first to the battle against a hardened criminal like that. You're not equipped, dude. Make the soldiers do the work.
The law was not in your favor there, Caps. And meanwhile, Misfits now kicking off this Drake. Do G2 want to fight? There's no teleport available on PerkZ, and it looks like the Misfits are in a much better position right now.
Checking in on the summoner spells, no flash for Caps, but there's a flash for PerkZ. The final chapter will come out, tries to buy a bit more time. Jankos will secure it. Bit embarrassing for the side of Misfits, but a good pickup for the side of G2.
And now G2 have priority over mid lane, and PerkZ can start making his way down. This gives them an opportunity to start threaten this mid tier 1, or just look for another fight.
Jankos, of course, no ultimate, but can still fish for the root. The slow on Kirei, that should be guaranteed, but will buy a bit more time with the stun. Will not be enough. DOS trying to buy time for Kirei to make it out, but this is out now. Just has to fight and will be taken down. Jankos continuing to rack up the kills with the power of the cat, backing him up. DOS is just barely able to make it out, but Jankos will not find the kill in the end.
But G2 found a successful kill, and now they're looking for a tower. Hansama
throws out the ultimate. We'll make it out to safety, but forced to use the flash as well. Well played by G2 to get the ult and the flash there, and G2 now barreling down the mid lane. Once again, what looks like an even game, now seeing in favor of G2 as Leader presses in on the bottom side. This is an absolute bloodbath. There are no clean objectives takes. It is trade after trade after trade.
It is the classic G2 mid game where they move around the map so fluidly. They know what fights they can and cannot take. And Jankos, I think this is a fight you cannot take, my friend.
Still gonna fish for the buff though. I don't know, DanDan.
Never mind!
You take the stun is there. Mickey, of course, still fine on the inside there, but Leader can't dash over the wall. Look to fish for a little more. Wants to take away Jankos' all, push him into the wall, but doesn't quite have it available. Seals the Soraka, all instead heals, but that's definitely not what he needed. PerkZ will get locked up. Wunder tries to buy a bit more time. Kirei chasing, but it's too little too late. DanDan goes down, and G2 can look to turn, but Misfits have already backed off.
And this is another great example of G2 knowing their limits. What initially looked like Jankos being out of position was actually just him buying time for the rest of his team to join the fray and force DanDan to overextend. Misfits then get baited into trying to force this 5 versus 5, which G2 were just in a better position to win. The power of that Soraka coming through, the double heals from the side of G2 was enough to re-sustain them to then allow them to turn this fight around, and now they finally re-secured the gold lead.
And double Athene's Unholy Grail is miserable to play against. DOS, yeah, he might have more playmaking ability, but he is not getting away from this cat. Instantly, Jankos goes in. Hansamava just trying to turn it, though. Can they actually get Jankos taken down? The cat's next on the list. That's a quick double kill. I thought for sure G2 had that in the bag, but they both go down in the exchange.
And just as I say, G2 understand when they can and cannot fight. Jankos flashes in. Mickey's like, I don't want to do this. Jankos like, you don't have a choice. Now we see another play.
DanDan is going to try to make it out. This one, no ult available. It means a quick kill pickup for Caps and PerkZ. Both former mid laners saying, all right, well, if the jungler and support can't do it, we'll take care of this one.
Oh, man. All right. For anyone watching at home, this is not the conventional way to siege towers. Please do not draw inspiration from this.
This is my favorite because someone somewhere in the world right now is like, no, you don't understand. Europe is the greatest region in the world. Let's turn into LEC. They're like, never mind, we'll come back in an hour.
Oh man, I can't wait for these replays. Oh, more fighting!
Leader now going to be caught out, of course, slowed down by the Silent projectile. Jankos trying to bit more time. A stolen supreme display of talent, but Leader not going to be able to make it out of this one too easily. A dash in from Jankos, and he will secure another kill.
Okay, so G2 find themselves another quick punish. Can Misfits do the same? Wunder on a ward.
Ooh, flash back over the wall. Definitely a little bit interesting there. DOS can dash in and dash out. Looks pretty, but not going to amount to much. And Kirei once again pays the price for DOS getting so aggressive. Ulti has come out. That's a double kill. Hansamava reminding people why he deserves a spot on the starting lineup. Outplayed.
Beautiful from the Birdman Hansamava. That was an exquisite use of the feathers to lock down the squishy members of G2. Jankos and Mickey, I love that their commitment to each other. You know, if they fight together, they die together. They are always going in tandem. And it is sometimes working out, sometimes not so much. So this flash from Wunder, extremely quick. The silence immediately comes out to mitigate the escape options of DOS, but he is still very mobile and is able to escape. Kirei, no flash available, so he gets locked down. Meanwhile, Jankos thinks, hey, I can go for this, but the feathers are in a position. He gets the lock up, and just as Hansamava gets stunned, he's able to land the E, which means no follow-through can come out from Jankos and the squad. Beautiful turnaround from Misfits.
Fantastic play thus far, and I like that Misfits are going toe-to-toe mechanically, something that a lot of these younger players have been praised for, but of course Hansamava, historically the person that you would look at to carry the Misfits team, now 6-2-3, 2.5 items completed, so maybe he can turn this one. Wunder, they want to go toe-to-toe with DanDan, but the silence is there, the root will connect, and Wunder just gets to walk away. That's a bit frustrating.
Oh man, look at that healing coming out from Wunder as well. G2, they're setting up control over the river. DanDan has been doing some work in the side lane. Notice how G2, in terms of towers, have actually lost many in the bot side of the map, and this does give DanDan the option to split push and potentially threaten the inhibitor, but the big problem is that G2 have so much vision control that they're going to keep looking for picks. They're trying to force Misfits into this uncomfortable situation, and it's so easy for G2 to lock a single target down and snowball. The important thing to note is that Lucian, later on in the game, is going to be much harder to execute, especially given that compared to Hansamava, is not going to have the same damage output. But Misfits going for more fights.
Once again locked down. DOS leaving forward, but will not be able to find any engages. Jankos now retreating. Leader with the soul, and Soraka will heal a bit up for his team, but only level 13, so won't be able to grab another ult. That means Kirei goes down in the exchange. DOS now forced to retreat as well, but DanDan has started up on the bottom tower. No backs coming in for G2 quite yet. They've set their sights on the Baron instead. No jungler alive means no smite. The Soraka has swapped to smite as well, and the TP coming bot side. Misfits are going for the full commit. Hansamava is here too. They need to protect the minions, however. If the minions go down, they will not be able to try and end the game. They may just fish for the inhibitor and look for the trade for the Baron, but G2 secure Baron. Leader now trying to stop the backs to buy time for his team. The inhibitor will be taken on the bottom side by Misfits. Once again, this game is not about clean, but it is about trading back and forth. Leader, can he make it out to safety? Can he turn this one? But no, too many carries on top of him. DOS now on the retreat.
He's trying to get out of this situation. Does he have many options? Notice how both Caps and Mickey have joined forces to lock down DOS. He's going to back inside this brush. G2 are hunting everywhere, but it looks like that he will just barely be able to escape with his life. G2 walk away with a Baron. Meanwhile, they do lose their bot lane inhibitor with a good answer from DanDan.
And as our stats team is so aptly highlighting, if you look just under the G2 name tag there, obviously very fast in the game time, obviously very high in the kills, but even this is above and beyond. We're 23 minutes in, it is 30 kills already up on the board. So very, very bloody game. But honestly, I I like the confidence from Misfits to make the play on the bottom side, but obviously this is not an ideal start.
Yeah, definitely not. Typically, you want the Rakan engage. Oh, we don't have time because DOS is dead.
Oh, man.
So what I was going to say is typically what you want is DOS to engage and then have the follow-up come through from Kirei. But in an ideal world, Misfits Com actually wants to be split pushing. You want to have leader in a side lane threatening the 1v1, which he is very strong at, while DanDan sits in the other side lane. Very classic Misfits approach, and something that has netted them a lot of success in their domestic leagues. But what they're forced to do is set up this 1-4, where leader is relied on for wave clear, because G2 now have the Baron. So we'll see how long Misfits can hold the line. Ooh, as Catch dies.
A lot of healing immediately coming in though. Soraka not going to be on the way. Has opted to back off. Good damage comes in from the corner. Kirei steps forward once again, leaping into the midst of the back line. The rest of the team will now retreat as Kirei dies once again, but DanDan will grab a tier 2 on the opposite side. Won't be able to grab much else. G2 setting their sights in this tower. Can they get the inhib as well? Pretty much an impossible hold. Hansama will come back, of course, was not taken down, just forced to use the ultimate.
Soraka
forward here, could be suicide. Soraka burned, Wunder overstays his welcome on the bottom side. Now the inhibitor's in jeopardy. G2 though, only 4 seconds on the back timer. But instead they're going forward. DOS now going to be in trouble. Hansama going to be pushed back. The flash will not be enough to take him out to safety. Goes golden to buy a bit of time. Leader needs to debate his options, but the shutdown comes in, and suddenly DanDan is the one who's overstayed as well.
Now G2 are grouped up as 4. They have the Baron buff. They know that Hansama is dead. That's the primary wave clear. But Kirei is back. What will DanDan look to do? Try and split push to end, or will he join the rest of his team?
Dash forward with the double tap from PerkZ. Stolen Qiyana ultimate. If they step too far forward into the base, he can't look for the stun. Meanwhile, DOS now backing. Ultimate not going to be up and available. Final chapter comes out, and good bit of damage, and that means Kirei goes down, but DOS now coming in. Can't look for a bit of CC, but PerkZ is simply too strong at this point. Leader has to give him that respect. G2 now looking to potentially retreat at the mid lane as the minion wave crashes into the mid lane tower. TP's coming down. G2 do not want to play for any more fights. They want to end the game. Wunder is here, the ambulance is on the way, and everybody's going to be getting back to full health.
They want to maintain their average game time of 26.5 minutes. Strain goes, 30 seconds left, in goes Jankos.
Hansama, maybe he can try to turn this one, but he gets silenced. He tries to pull back the feathers, but it's not enough. G2 setting their eyes on Nexus, splitting their attention, but it's not going to matter. In the end, only 2 members left standing on the side of Misfits. Wunder will keep him healthy. G2 will keep playing with their food, and at the end of the day, it's going to be a 14-2 scoreline for the G2 boys.
Oh, what a fun game to watch. Both teams going back and forth. So much fighting.
I'm going to be honest. When you tell me there's a Soraka top in the game, for some reason, I'm convinced it's going to be some exciting, flashy pick. And then I remember it's Soraka, and Wunder's only job that entire game was to not die on the side lane versus the Kennen and press R and W at appropriate times.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Misfits, with this win from G2, Misfits are now locked out of playoff contention. It was a very entertaining game. Their early game was impressive to watch. I feel like they did a lot of good things, but when it came to the mid game, G2 never slowed down, as they often do. They constantly utilized their pressure to exert their dominance, and while there were definitely many overcommitments from the side of G2, they just did never slow down, and they were always looking for more opportunities.
And of course, winning this, locking the top 2 at Athens has to feel good for G2. Very much on the road to locking number 1 as well, with advantage there in the side selection. Moving into the second round of playoffs, but an incredible split from G2 thus far. And still more insanity. I can't imagine many teams are going to be going, yeah, we need to play around the Soraka.
But no, I really think that DanDan had a good pick into it. I felt like he handled it in the lane very well. They set up a really good dive onto it, and we actually got to see in this game the potential weakness of the Soraka, because Jankos' early game focus was all about trying to get the bot lane ahead, and they weren't able to do that. I feel like that if Misfits had just slowed down the game a little bit more, they would have been in a great position moving forward, because their duo was pretty far ahead of PerkZ and Mykix. The Xayah was only going to continue to scale. I felt like the Hansama was having a fantastic game, and Leader was only going to keep getting stronger. So if Misfits had just taken a little bit more control, this could have been a much closer game. But at the same time, trying to slow the game down when you're up against G2 is an entirely different
let's
matter.
take a look back at exactly how G2 closed out this game. We can remember that Misfits may have wanted to stall out the game, Vedius, but then of course TPs start coming in when the Soraka respawns. We'll keep an eye on that in a second, and G2 just continue to step forward despite half health for a lot of the team.
And notice the most important thing here is that Hansama is dead. without him available, he is a lot of the damage, he is a lot of the mid to late game carry potential, and with him unavailable, it's difficult for Misfits to really hold the line. So that's why G2 feel confident to commit to this play. DanDan is forced to rejoin the rest of his team. PerkZ and Mykix choose to dive leader underneath his inhibitor tower. There's no way that he's getting out of this situation. And then they look to just continue pushing onto the Nexus base with their numbers, all 5 members strong.
And here, really, not a lot for Onsama to do. Can't step forward, would he just push himself further into that silence from Soraka, and really, if the Feather Collar, the Blade Collar isn't going to kill someone, sustained damage is just not going to work against a Yuumi and a Soraka at this point in the game. And you can see the damage charts. Tells us a story that we knew. Soraka doesn't do a lot of that.
20 minutes. Classic G2. But again, props to Misfits. Commiserations as well, because like this roster was put in a very awkward situation where young players from the LFL came in to replace the main initial roster that was very much struggling in the first half of the split. They did what they could, but trying to adapt to the LEC stage and play at this level for very early on, they just didn't have the time. And if they started at the beginning of the split, maybe they would have been in a better position to challenge for the playoffs. We can already see how close they were, only a couple games away, but unfortunately it was not the case. And hopefully we get to see more of these players next year. I'm looking forward to the development. I think there's a bright future for a lot of these people, and I'm excited to see what they can do moving into 2020.
I am as well. We'll see exactly what the offseason looks like. A lot of promising talent on that Misfits lineup. But on the side of G2, they won. And that means Kia player of the game time. At lolesports on Twitter is the place. Wunder, Jankos, and Caps are your... Wunder? Wunder, Jankos, and Caps are your options. Soraka gets you some cred.
I do want to give a big shout out to Mickey as well. I think he had a fantastic cat game, and I think that he was a large part of what enabled Jankos as well. But definitely Jankos was the guy doing a lot of damage, finding a lot of kills, and it's nice that Coach Grabs does let the jungler have some fun every now and then.
Yeah, could have given it to Caps, but not going to happen. When we return, Fnatic are going to take the stage for their game against Vitality. More on that matchup and the battle for Athens right after.